Check Podcasts.
Hi, I'm Bruce Williams. I'm the CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce. And this is Chamber Chats, which, as always, we are recording here in the podcasting studios of Czech Television, one of our chamber champions. I would acknowledge at the beginning, as always, that I live and work in the unceded ancestral territories of the Lekwungen-speaking nations, the Songhees and the Esquimalt. And Chamber Chats are made possible by the support of Island Savings, a division of First West Credit Union. So very soon, middle of September, there are about 3,000, I'm going to say, competitors that are coming to town here to compete in something that will be the largest event of its kind since the Commonwealth Games were here in 1994. That event is the BC 55 Plus Games. Some of the organizers are with me right now. In studio is Keith Wells, Executive Director of the Greater Victoria Sports Tourism Commission. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you in person.
And joining us via Zoom is Clint Flood, who is the General Manager of the BC 55 Plus Games. Clint, how are you?
Thanks, Bruce, for having us. Great.
So this kind of stuff happens with the support of community. So Keith, I'm going to start with you about this. It's like anything else that volunteers, local sponsors are the ones that step up to make all this happen. So who are they and how many are there?
Well, let's see. So we started trying to acquire these games about 3-4 years ago. And because of COVID, push back. So finally, September 13th to 17th, we're going to have this event here. 2,800 athletes, 22 sports, 800 volunteers. And the scope of it is really impressive. Like you said, 94. We've had another BC Games in there in the Capital Region, but essentially, it's been more than 20 years since we've had a multi-sport games like this in the Capital Region. So I'm at the Greater Victoria Sport Tourism Commission. We bring events here, to town at Destination Greater Victoria, and we always kind of had our designs on this event. It's never been in the Capital Region in the 30 years it's been around the province. So it's been long overdue. We've got everything in place. We are going to host the province in an extremely exciting way in a few weeks. Middle of September 13th again. And, we're just really excited. It's a huge community event, volunteer event. And competitors from around the province bringing in their friends and family here. It's a great tourism event, too. So it checks all the boxes.
I want to get some specific names from you in just a second. But Clint, I just want to go back. So there's you two, and then there's the volunteers, but there's other people involved. So who actually organizes all of this stuff? What's the source organization for this?
Right. So we're set up as a host organizing committee. Our job is to put on this event. And then when the event's finished, we close up shop, pay the bills off, and move on to other things. We're granted the games by the BC Senior Game Society. Every year in British Columbia, in a municipality, they take this thing on. So before us in Kelowna, it was in 2019. We were supposed to be in 2021, but of course the pandemic got in the way. And next year it's going to Abbotsford. So we've got a small group of staff. I think there's 4 or 5 of us. But as Keith mentioned, it's backed by 800 volunteers. We've got a board of 15 people that have been pulled together under the direction of Michael O'Connor. That's who's been doing the hard work for the last 2 years as we're getting planned to deliver this thing in 3 weeks' time.
So this is all working so well because of the experience of people like Clint, who's been involved with stuff in the past,
and
right?
if I could take just for 1 second to give you an idea of the scope of this thing, we tap into the volunteer community here and over 800 people putting their time in. A lot of people from 1994 who worked on the Commonwealth Games early in their careers. Our general manager here, Clint, has worldwide experience with Olympics, Commonwealth Games, the highest level athletic events around the world, and are giving back to their community. It's really impressive what that event in 94 did for us, the professionals that sprang from this. And by having an event like this, I can't help but think some of the younger people that we have, students from the Camosun College who are helping out from the sport management program, they're going to look back at this as maybe a launching point into their careers and that. So there's all kinds of benefits from a capacity standpoint, having this here, building up our officials, sports officials and that, our volunteer network, everything. Lots of benefits. So this has been, a terrific endeavor so far. We understand that people may not be clamoring to come out and watch the 55 plus competitors in the 22 sports here in town, but you'll see them, make them feel welcome, and know that this is a great thing for tourism and all of these other benefits.
So when we talk about that team as well, Clint, you mentioned Michael O'Connor, Benj O'Connor. My partner Amanda is involved. Jeremy Brownridge at Government House. You're all volunteers. Why do you do this?
I think it goes back to what Keith said of the '94 Commonwealth Games. I got my start, a lot of my start in events, cut my teeth in Calgary, and then got an opportunity to come here for the Victoria Commonwealth Games. It's time to get back. I've made a living around the world, as Keith said, but it's an opportunity for us to shine in our own city. And I think that's why I'm giving up my time. My partner's giving up her time to do it. As you said, your partner and a lot of other people are doing this because we believe in this community and we know the great assets that this community has. So, and to be backed by volunteers who are giving up, 5 days of their lives to volunteering, but it's also the time that they have to put in before. They have to go to training sessions, they have to go to endless meetings. So that's why we're doing it, because we can feel the enthusiasm of us wanting to host the province again.
So this is going to have certainly a community spirit impact. People will get behind it. They'll have a great time. They'll enjoy the fight. But this brings dollars into this community too, Keith, because these people, as competitors, are also tourists in a way, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. From a sport tourism standpoint, this fills hotel rooms. Middle of September, I mean, again, this region, it's remarkable what's going on here in the summer months. We're so busy, and it's difficult for us at the Sport Tourism Commission to attempt to bring events here in the summer because the city is already full. But these shoulder events, the off-season events, mid-September, excellent. There's an opportunity here to bring thousands of, again, competitors or friends and family who would come along, stick around, go golfing, take advantage of the tours. So again, it's a wonderful BC-oriented kind of event that engages a community, that brings people here from far and wide, and it's all just part of our strategy, to be honest, at the Greater Victoria Sport Tourism Commission. This idea of tentpole events every few years, where we have a large event, we support everything in between, and attempt to bring larger events here in the future. And we've got some things in the pipe that are coming down the road that will be great for the community too. This all helps.
We're going to talk about the competitors and the sports. I always like to joke and say a lot of these sports I've actually played with a beer in my hand at one point, but we'll talk about that stuff when we come back next. We're talking today on Chamber Chats all about the upcoming BC 55 Plus Games. Clint Flood is the general manager of the Games, and Keith Wells is with me in studio here at CHEK. He's the executive director of the Greater Victoria Sports Tourism Commission. Clint, who are these people, these 3,000 competitors that are coming in? How did they, what's their path to get here?
All right. So across 22 different sports, some of them have competed to get here in terms of playdowns. Golf, for instance, in their local communities, they had to play some practice rounds and competitive rounds to get here. Others, such as archery, for instance, they just sign up. They do represent 12 zones across the province, geographically across the province. And so while they compete as individuals or as teams in hockey, they're also representing their own host communities and host zones. Some of this has started, of course, when it finished in Kelowna in 2019, everybody was looking forward to the next one that was supposed to be in 2020 and then 2021. Well, 2020 was in Richmond. It didn't happen. Where 2021 didn't happen here. So there's a pent up demand for this, because people have been itching to get back into competition for the last 2.5 years. And finally now in 2022, we can host these, competitors who are really, they spend a lot of time practicing and getting ready for this event.
Yeah, they're going to bring some great energy in, that's for sure. Keith, who pays for all this?
This is interesting. So typically an event like this, just from a dollar and cent standpoint, it usually takes place in smaller centers around the province, as it has over the past 30 some years that this event has taken place. Smaller communities, smaller budgets. This will be unlike anything that this Games have ever had around the province. We've got a budget about $750,000, a huge support coming from the municipalities, primarily the core communities of Victoria, Saanich, Esquimalt, Oak Bay, and Langford. Big help too from Colwood, where a lot of the events are going to take place. But beyond that, we have sponsors, significant sponsors, who have stepped forward in difficult times, to be honest. Berwick, huge supporter, our name sponsor for this event. They've been so good to work with and have put a lot of time, money, value in kind in place, and also Bayview, a huge supporter of this. They've been terrific. A couple of our events are going to be taking place at the Roundhouse, and numerous other sponsors. So, this is engagement on all kinds of different levels. The sponsors have been great. The municipalities have been great. Volunteer network has been terrific. And quite frankly, we're on the cusp of this, and it's really going to be exciting to see this happen. And again, all I can say is that if you see some of these visitors, give them a welcome to the Capital Region, and we know that this is going to be a big hit.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the sports. I'm involved in the games as well. I'm not a competitor, as I'm sure you can tell, but I talk
You're
well.
55 plus. So.
I am 55
okay,
plus, yes. So I'm going to be the
You're
talking
not getting
head.
out of that.
No, I'll be the talking head at some of these events. So we're talking golf, hockey, cycling, badminton, curling, slow pitch, pickleball, track and field, lots of it, swimming, soccer, table tennis, dragon boating, carpet bowling, lawn bowling, equestrian, horseshoes, cribbage, darts, 8-ball, and snooker are the sports involved, some of them anyway. So let's begin here with the venues for golf. Clint, where's that going on?
Cedar Hill, as well up in Arbutus Ridge in Cobble Hill.
Okay.
So what happens is they men play one venue one day, and then they move over. So each gets a chance. The men and women each get a chance to play those 2 courses.
Okay. There's hockey as well.
Hockey, yeah. So hockey, both men's and women's, taking place at Perks, Archie Brownie, and at Wandafuka in the 2 arenas there.
Okay.
Full 4 days of full-on hockey.
The average 55-year-old now is much healthier than the average 55-year-old in previous generations. So, Keith, that's going to bring a particular energy to this, because I think people in that age group, like me, are still pretty proud of how and you, right? Still pretty proud of how capable we could be in general. So this is a chance for them to celebrate that too.
Yeah, I think so. I think the complexion of these games has really changed over the years, and it's all about active living. I should point out too that we're so lucky. Clint is starting to go through some of the sports, and that Charles Parkinson has been in charge of our sport. All of the different events, lining that up. And he has, provincial expertise, is at Camosun teaching sport management. Again, it's just another thing that we're so proud of, that we've been able to engage the community and the volunteers and the people, the board. It's such a high level. We're so lucky in this community. This is a sports town. It's a great sports town. We know that. We have the ability to do these events and to kind of re-engage the community like this, and get people excited again to put on an event and host like we did for the World Junior Tournament, like we will for events in the future. This is really, really quite gratifying.
Yeah. Clint, track and field. How many different parts of track and field, and where's that taking place?
Mostly up at U of Vic at Centennial Stadium. We're going to do the throws, the shot put, hammer, etc. at Lambert Park. But again, that's a legacy from '94, as we all remember. They hosted a fantastic event up there, and a lot of the equipment is still in operation. It's been well taken care of over the years, and we'll be using all that equipment up at Centennial. Bruce Deacon, who many of you know in the running community here, is actually going to run our competition for us up there. So again, we're blessed by 22 sports chairs who have taken on the responsibility to run these sports for us, all on a volunteer basis again.
And this is ice curling that's going on. Is that correct? It's at the curling club. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, we've actually shifted it to Archie Brownie. A little bit of challenge with the ice. That curling club is fantastic. They want to get that ice in. There's a whole bunch of bond spills going to happen. They just got a little problem with the ice plant, and we're going to go over to Archie Brownie again. We're blessed to have a venue like Archie Brownie that we're going to both play hockey in as well as curling.
I want to move along to the sports that I have personally played while holding a beer, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that next. Chamber Chats today is all about the BC 55 Plus Games coming up in mid-September to Greater Victoria. Clint Flood is with us. He is the general manager of the BC 55 Plus Games, and Keith Wells is in studio with me here at CHEK. He's the executive director of the Greater Victoria Sports Tourism Commission. So these ones I'm going to talk about are ones that I'm kind of half kidding when I say I'm playing while holding a beer, which will not happen during the games. But we're talking, these things involve extreme hand-eye coordination. 8-ball, snooker, darts, things like that. Clint, those are things that require great concentration.
Absolutely. These guys take their sport very seriously. We also have cribbage. I mean, and that keeps the mind active. That's being played at Monterey, in Oak Bay. again, I think what Keith said earlier, it's all about active living. And whether you're playing darts or whether you're running on a track or you're playing cards, it's all about getting out and being. The motto of the game is sport for life and friendship. And I think that's what this is all about. Is sure it's competitive, but it's also an opportunity, maybe with a beer in your hand while you're competing, but certainly after you're competing, to have a beer with your competitors. And that's really what we're trying to do, is create an atmosphere where it's competitive, but also a great social component of what we're trying to do with the games.
Yeah, horseshoes. I should have mentioned that too. So when the people are not competing in swimming or lawn bowling or equestrian or pickleball, Keith, they're going to be out on the town. They're going to be eating. They're going to be shopping.
Yeah.
That's the impact of this economically, right?
Yeah, again, this organizing committee, you're going to see that weekend between the 13th and 17th events that are going on. We're having an event on Government Street, closing it down, engaging the business community, the restaurants down there. Cruise ships are in town.
Mm-hmm.
3,000 athletes are in town. It's going to be a busy weekend. That's good for business. In addition to that, we've got a volunteer event that is going on with the competitors as well at the Roundhouse at Bayview. Ken Mariesh has been so supportive of this. That's going to be a big party. It's great bringing people here, and they're going to be able to celebrate. And our opening ceremonies, too, we should point out that it's going to take place at Save-On Foods Memorial Centre. City of Victoria has been great with that. We've got a great Indigenous component, really trying to be respectful with that in the opening ceremonies. The athletes will be indoors, the parade of athletes that they still do at an event like this. It's got all of those Olympic, Paralympic, Commonwealth Games kind of components, the nations, the 12 regions of the province coming in, and all of the competitors still get a big kick out of that. So there's a lot of peripheral events that are going on here beyond the 22 events. This is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Organizing one sport, a provincial sporting event, takes a lot of doing in that, but it blows me away the scope of this thing. The fact that we've put together 22 events, on the backs of volunteers. I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah, when you mention other games, when they do things, this one has a flame. There was a flame that was lit at Berwick for this as well. And Clint, there's also a games village. Tell me about that.
Well, it's really an opportunity for our sponsors to activate. So what we're doing here is we're doing some things at the Accreditation Center, which will be at the Crystal Gardens on the 13th and 14th. We're then having our sponsors do some things around the opening ceremonies at Save On, as Keith said. And the other big thing we're trying to do is at the we call it the Rock the Roundhouse, out at, famous venue out there in Esquimalt by Bayview. A lot of our sponsors are going to come. So, for instance, Berwick's putting on a tattoo parlor. And get our 55 plus tattooed in various parts of their bodies. So those are some of the things when we talk about Games Village. Right.
This is new to Keith, by the way.
Did we sign off on
Keith,
this?
we're actually gonna practice on Keith first.
Oh, of course.
But those are right. So what we're trying to do is to bring not just a village itself, but take it, if you will, to the various venues and make sure that our competitors get an opportunity to see our sponsors activating. Plus, we're actually going to have we're going to have the mayors of the various municipalities present medals, etc., playing some music. We've got a beer gardens down at Wanafuka. Again, this is all part of making this a social aspect as well as just a competitive nature.
And, even the naming of this to be representative of the spirit, it's not the seniors games. It's not the master competitors games. It's just simply people that are over 55, Keith.
Yeah, it's come off of that. Again, it's all about active, being active for life. And again, as Clint mentioned, it's not just the track and field athletes who are running hard and everything like that. It's a variety of other 55 plus athletes. Pickleball, for instance, it's unbelievable how popular some of these events are. I believe there may be 24. Clint, what's the number again? How many pickleball things? An incredible number that are coming from around the province just to pay that.
Or courts.
Courts needed and competitors.
Well, yeah, 16 courts, 320 participants. Pickleball, we started off needing 8 courts, but because of the popularity of the sport, we're now up to 16. We're playing at both CARSA as well as FERCS. I think that's across most of the sports, is that we found that, again, if you offer a good service, you provide good venues, you provide good information, people will come. Our numbers are down a little bit, but I think it's a result of coming out of the pandemic. But again, 22 sports, 2,800 competitors. I think that's a good handful to manage over a 4-day period.
Yeah, we don't have to buy tickets for any of this either. Well, maybe some of the events, but the reception events, but the other thing, the competitive events, no tickets needed?
It'll be that weekend. If you're driving by one of the venues, the 22 venues, by all means stop by and have a look and give a round of applause for the people that have come from far and wide around the province to compete here. It's all available.
Great. And of course, a round of applause to you and to the committee and everybody who's made this possible to make it such a great event for our region. Website, where can people get more information about this?
Yeah, if you search for 55 Plus BC Games, you'll see the Victoria link there. You can find out more about all of the events that are going on here. And again, 13th to 17th, say hi to the people who are in town.
And there's also going to be even a very West Coast element with dragon boating happening too. And that's something maybe people from other parts of the province have not seen before, Clint.
Well, down at the Selkirk Waterway, the Fairway Gorge Paddling Club is putting on. It's a spectacular setting down there. I don't know if people have seen it, but you've got to come down there just to see that waterfront. We're going to have, I think there's 20 boats in total going to compete over 2 days. That's where you see the spirit coming out. You see these the dragon boaters come out. They're all in their uniforms. They're gung-ho about getting on the water. That's what this thing's all about. And to be hosting on a fantastic international class waterway like we have here in Victoria is a great plus for the community.
Clint Flood is the General Manager of the 55 Plus Games, and Keith Wells is the Executive Director of the Greater Victoria Sports Tourism Commission. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thanks for all you're doing. Bring on the games. And they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, then a video is worth 1,000,000 words. Let's wrap up this Chamber Chat with a look at the upcoming games. I'm Bruce Williams. We'll see you again for another Chamber Chat.
Friends, I couldn't be more delighted that the Greater Victoria region will host the BC 55 Plus Games September 13th to 17th of this year. Some 4,000 participants from all regions of our province will converge in our community for 5 days of diverse and inspiring events, all in the spirit of healthy, collegial competition. There will be many opportunities to contribute your skills and experience to make the 55 Plus Games a terrific success. And I, for one, will be stepping up.
The last time that I was involved in an event of this size was the 1994 Commonwealth Games of Victoria. I'm very excited to be involved this year with the 55 Plus BC Games. Come and volunteer, join us for some fun. It's a great way to meet new friends.
I do hope that you will join me as part of the core of dedicated volunteers. See you in September. Heichka.